Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Wumpa Time. My name is Canadian Guy A, and we are joined by my co-host, the one and the only Shemp.
Echo!
Yeah, Shemp just moved.
I
so
did.
he's currently standing. So he's gonna be standing. He's gonna be standing for like an hour. So, yeah, as we're recording. So why don't you just for a quick plug, just to make Shemp feel better, why don't you go subscribe to him and maybe click like on the video or podcast because he's gonna stand for an hour, guys.
I'm saying an hour for you, all right? At least would you show me some respect. Anyways, let's get into the news. What's Warcraft about, dude?
That was a great transition. Okay, so Warcraft Reforged. Okay. So as you guys, some of you know, Warcraft 3 came out 1 year ago, and it was how do I put it gently? A disastrous launch. It was.
That's kind of light, you know. You don't have to be so gentle on it.
It was pretty. It was pretty bad. There's no way around it. As a fan of Warcraft 3, like a big fan, like as in I played that game probably like 8,000 hours as a child. It was pretty bad. And the biggest problem with it was that there was a slew of content that was promised at launch that was not there ever. They promised an updated UI. That never happened. They showed in-game cinematics. That never happened. In fact, what they showed at BlizzCon, they said, hey, this is rough. This is not final. But it is like, it's an alpha. And people are like, okay, that's fine. We looked and we're like, wow, that looks really good. What we got was worse than what we saw at BlizzCon.
It looks like they mixed up the final and the alpha. They're like, this is alpha, and it's the final version. They're like, oh no.
Yeah. That's basically what happened. It was bad. It was so bad. And then, to add on to the horror, Warcraft 3 was still running up until the launch of Warcraft Reforged. It still had its own servers. It still had its own modes. It still had all these things. Here's the problem. What they did was that they shut down the original Warcraft servers and merged it with the Reforged servers.
Yeah, so I never understood why they didn't do the StarCraft remastered approach, where they just they make the servers more modern so anyone can play on them, and then you just have the option to play remastered.
Right? Yeah. But here's the thing: is that they kind of did that, but they didn't bring over any of all the stuff that Warcraft 3 originally had: clans, proper matchmaking, and all these other tournaments. None of those got brought over. None.
So they just made they made their own like dumbed down version. So are StarCraft and Warcraft are those completely different sides of Blizzard? Because I always thought it was the same team working on just
it was the
those
same
types
team.
of games.
It was the classic team.
So what guys, we did really good with the StarCraft remaster. What if we did not that? But for Warcraft.
Okay, so what they did was that the big thing that they had done, and this is just a crash bad thing, was that they worked on the StarCraft original engine and they just improved upon it, that was fine. But then what they did was that they went to the Warcraft engine and they did the exact same thing, but they made it so much more egregious, like the upgrades, that it started to break the game because the engine was still the game that came out in 2001. So it's
okay. I guess Warcraft is a little more in depth than StarCraft because StarCraft came out in 1997, and that's way older than when that game came out.
Right,
so
but
still,
I
guess
though,
it's more in depth.
Yeah, but it still didn't make any sort of sense because it's the same team, and everyone's just like, "What the heck happened?" And there were things taken out endlessly. Their whole shtick too is that one of the big thing about Warcraft 3 was that the custom games were supposed to be 1-to-1. So, for example, if you create a custom game in the original Warcraft 3 engine, in the original world editor that was open for everyone to use and create your own game, that if you booted it up in Warcraft Reforged, everything will transition over 1-to-1, no problem. That didn't happen. Everything fell apart in the transition. So if you made a game, some of these games that were popular for years upon years, Wintermall, Mort's Power TD, Dota, where Dota was born.
Oh yeah, Dota.
And then from the Dota version of Warcraft 3, League of Legends, these games that are now multi-billion-dollar companies, they all started Warcraft 3. And the mods they were mods through the world map editor. they didn't work because it just everything, the pathing was off on all the characters, the sizing was off. They changed the range of some characters. Like for example, there was a change done. I remember there was a tower defense, and there was a certain tower that had a certain range, and the whole shtick of it was that it was short ranged, but it did massive amounts of damage. So that was the whole shtick of it. But the problem was that on one of the waves of creatures that you hit on, they shrunk the hitboxes, and the pathing was done a certain way that if you built a whole line of these, they would just walk around them and not deal any damage. So you would just you have 30 lives, and then you have 50 minions just blow through your base, and your towers do nothing.
Okay, so that sounds all good and bad, but what's the situation with Warcraft 3 now, a year later?
1 year later, they've updated two things.
There was a typo, and we made the logo prettier.
Man, let me tell you something. Oh my gosh. Okay, so the first one requires just a quick explanation. There's these units called gargoyles. They deal 20 damage to ground units, but they deal 50 damage to aerial units. And sometimes you want certain gargoyles to attack air units and certain gargoyles to attack ground units. Before, you kind of had to like do it on the fly, but now you can assign certain gargoyles and say, hey, I want you to prioritize air units and other gargoyles to prioritize ground units. So that's one update they did. Okay. The second update is there's a critter that's a chicken, and they added chicken scratch marks as it was running.
Whoa! Yeah.
So as it runs, there's little chicken prints in the ground, and
Thank God.
That's it.
Dude,
that's it. Nothing else.
that is the equivalent of getting a PS4 or a PS5 update, and then you look at the details, and it's like fixed circle press rate, system stability. That's what that gave me.
Yeah, but that was after 1 year, and the last developer update was in August 2019.
So they quickly abandoned ship. Like, I'm sure the chicken footprints was like an intern who was born here like, oh, I can make it faded text. Okay, I'm gonna push this through as an update real fast.
Basically, it's not good. It's not good, and it's been a year, and I'm still heartbroken over it. It was so bad that we talked about this before. Vicarious Visions merged with Blizzard, and Blizzard basically kicked off the old classic team and brought in Vicarious Visions. They're like Control Alt Delete, and then just shifted Vicarious Visions. Then they're like, you out, you stay. And
out, you stay.
Yeah, the suffice to say, let's just say the Warcraft 3 1 year launch wasn't at its prime. Speaking of prime. Segue.
Anyways, so we got word like a year or two ago. This was before the Sonic movie, I think. We got word that Sega struck a deal with Netflix, and they were going to not produce, but they were going to help work with Netflix to fund a Sonic the Hedgehog animated series for Netflix. And
right.
I forget the studio's name who did it. I don't have my second monitor, so I can't look it up. But I know, shoot, first world problems. So it's the studio that did like I thought it was like Mega Man Powered Up, or they did some other animated shows like that, but. Mm-hmm. They're going to be animating it, and it finally got a name and a logo. It's called Sonic Prime, and we learned we learned one piece of news that we'll get into in the main news later, but we also learned that I think it was Tyson. We always forget his name. Tyson whatever his name is. I don't know how to say his last name, but you know who I'm talking. It's the Sonic artist that saved the Sonic movie. I just forget I don't know how to say his last name. But he confirmed that he's not part of the project. And then the writers of the IDW comics, which everyone loves the Sonic IDW comics, they also confirmed that they are also not part of the show. And the only thing people have been wanting is for Sega to just do what IDW is doing, but in the game or a show. And they're like, no, we're not going to do that. So we don't know a lot except that it's on Netflix.
Yeah, I mean, to give it a benefit of the doubt, a lot of the Netflix base shows are pretty good. I mean, from the ones that I've seen, like I enjoyed The Witcher. I
Yeah.
enjoyed Daredevil. I loved Daredevil.
And
Luke Cage was pretty good, but
And they're no stranger to games. Like the Skylanders Academy, I thought was neat.
Oh, yeah,
it was
yeah.
good. Yeah, Spyro was on Netflix. Why not Sonic? It's neat. I'm sure. I don't know. I can't say it's gonna be good because I haven't seen it. But my only fear is that we're gonna get another show where they show us Sonic and we're like, who in God's name is that? I'm scared he's gonna look like a mangled rat, and we're all gonna be like, "What is?" Is it so hard to stick with the design? You have it there. Just make it look like that.
Yeah, I don't understand the creative liberties that's kept on trying to be applied on Sonic. Like,
Me neither. I don't get it.
Like, I remember when Sonic Boom was announced, and I remember the backlash from that.
He's got a scarf.
Yeah. I didn't think it was too terrible, but I mean, in comparison to some of the other designs that we've seen, it's okay. I mean, Knuckles just became big and buff.
Yeah. No, like, to be fair, they're. I remember with Knuckles, they were like, you look at old Knuckles, and you just had to take his word that he was strong. It's like, that's understandable. You make him big and stupid.
Yeah.
But and then we got. I'm so scared it's gonna look like. Do you remember like the test footage Sonic movie Sonic, where it was like the quills were down to his ankles and he looked gross and greasy? That's what I'm scared he's gonna look like.
Listen, it's like, guys, you see Sonic? That's what we want. Maybe make his shoes
looks
look
like
a little
that.
different. You want creative liberty? Change his shoes. There.
There, give him some different shoes. It's fine. Change shoes. I don't care.
It's like, no, do the Sonic that we all know and love. I think a lot of people too. Another complaint. Quick question: did Sonic Boom ever have Shadow show up?
Yes, Shadow was literally it was just Shadow, but he had like little thin quills outside of his main quills, like just little strands of hair essentially, just out there. But it was just Shadow. He looked exactly like Shadow.
Okay. So I feel like the Sonic fan base would love to see in this animated version like more characters other than the 3 and possibly Shadow.
Oh, please, good lord!
Like there's some really cool characters, and I think that adding because in Sonic Boom the main characters were forgive me, I'm entering uncharted waters: Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, and
That's it.
That's
Eggman.
it.
Yeah, it was
and
just those 4 and Eggman. And then Eggman had his robots, his 2 robots, and then we had all the people in the town, but it was mainly those 4. Here, I'm sending you a picture of Shadow and Sonic Boom just to emphasize that it's the same character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's got like gloves.
Yeah, that's it. It's the same exact thing. But Sonic Boom, like the thing that made Sonic Boom work, it was the writing. That was it. It was just funny writing. And that's all. I just want it to be good. Like any Sonic fan ever, it's like you get one good thing, then you get 5 years of bad. So I think we're past the threshold. All right, can't like, come on.
No, the movie was your good. The rest is not bad.
Oh no, come on, man.
So,
I just want a game.
Now, rolling on with the Sonic news. Rolling on.
Stop it.
So we got some more news. Sega and Lego have greenlit a fans Sonic Mania Lego set. So I'm unfamiliar here, especially with Lego, because I haven't dealt with Lego in a long time. But does Lego do this? Do they approve fan made sets and then go through with them?
Let me tell you something about Lego. They're expensive, all right? I went to Target yesterday and I saw they had like this cool Lego art thing that you put together. It's like a frame out of Lego, and then you make a Stormtrooper helmet out of Lego and you hang it up and it looks super cool. It was $170.
Are you serious?
Like, dude, it's Lego.
Well, that's why I haven't bought Legos. Every time I see them, my brain short circuits, because I always think of it as like, oh yeah, a quick cheap gift where it's like, oh okay,
no, it's not cheap. No,
definitely not, and very frustrating. So, all right. So anyway, continue.
So, oh, sorry. There's a car going off. I thought it was mine. So, essentially, yeah, there's a website that you can go to, and you can submit your Lego fan creation. Like, here's my fan made, like original Lego set, or it's like a space in this space set, or you have like ones that are like intellectual properties, like Sonic, for example. And this one person, I remember this was a year ago or 2 years ago, where this person made this really cool Sonic concept, because the only Sonic Lego thing that we ever got was in Lego Dimensions, like the game, and the only Sonic figure was the Lego Dimensions Lego Sonic figure. So everything else had to be made either from the game's like models or from scratch, because the rule with this thing is you have to make sure everything in your set can be made out of every Lego that we have, and if we have to manufacture something, then we'll go from there. But they made this really cool set where it was like you can make the Green Hill loop-de-loop. You could have this another section of grass that has the flowers and the little the signpost. And then you have Sonic, and then you have like some rings, and then you have like the Death Egg robot, like the big the big circular one from Sonic 2, all made out of Legos. And it was I think the rule was like if you could get 10,000 like signatures on a petition or something, Lego would consider it. And this was 2 years ago, and I forgot about it until now, where Lego and Sega are both like, sure. And now it's greenlit. So we have this really cool Sonic Mania Lego set coming out, and I might have to buy it because it's expensive.
Sega confuses me sometimes, where it's like
same.
Sometimes they're like uppity up, and then other times like, yeah, sure, go ahead. It's like, what?
Yeah. Hey, can we do this thing with Sonic? I don't care, dude. Just have him back by midnight, all right?
Yeah, basically, that's literally it. So, I mean, it's really nice, though, to see that Sega is actually greenlighting this and that Lego is kind of allowing it. I think it's going to be cool, especially to the big like Lego collectors out there, because I know that that's like an entire hobby. I have a follower. His name is Sean, and the guy made a whole Lego set. He did a portrait of Spyro out of Lego.
Oh, that's cool.
It was if I remember correctly, I might be remembering wrong, but from what I remember correctly, it was the Spyro 1 Reignited cover.
Okay.
So it's the Spyro 1 cover but reignited, and he had it in a picture frame, and it was really nice. And there are some people that they just make entire careers out of it, and it's amazing to see their creations. And I'm excited for people to be able to get their hands on the Sonic Mania Lego set that's hopefully going to be coming soon. But something that is, as we continue to, I'm not getting rid of it, roll on with the Sonic news. I'm not giving up on it. Did you watch Avengers Endgame?
Dude.
Avengers, the Infinity War.
Infinity War.
Yeah. You remember the snap?
Oh yeah, how could I forget where everyone disappeared?
Yeah, Sega did that.
Oh
no. So we're gonna go on to the main news here. Sega, even though they're like, yeah, sure, here's a Netflix adaptation, and yeah, sure, we'll greenlight the Lego set. But by the way, we just fired everyone off the voice actor roster.
Yeah, I don't understand. So okay, before I go into it, let me give context. Roger Craig Smith, the main voice actor for Sonic for 10 years, posted on Twitter a broken blue heart, and he was like, well, had a good 10-year run, thanks for all the opportunities, yada yada yada, on to new zones. It was a short and sweet, I'm not Sonic anymore, but whatever, I'll go forward and do whatever I wanted. And the internet exploded because there was no rhyme or reason. We haven't heard anything Sonic related from Sega as a mainstream game since Sonic Forces, because Team Sonic Racing came out, but that was a spin-off. And that was the last thing that Roger was a part of, and the whole cast was a part of. So everyone was like, okay, that's weird. What's going on? And then we got the Sonic Prime news for the Netflix show, and someone asked the Tails voice actor, hey, are you going to be part of the show? And she said, no, I'm not part of that cast. And we were like, okay, I guess Tails isn't part of it. And then someone asked Amy's voice actor, hey, what's your take on all the Sonic cast leaving? That's weird. And she said something along the lines of, yeah, I'm loading up with my crew and heading out. So, like, everyone is gone. And everyone, like, literally the entire internet was like, I swear, if Mike Pollock is not Eggman anymore, that's it. I'm burning several bridges. But Mike Pollock tweeted, he was like, hey, don't worry. My agent just told me that I'm going to still be Eggman for a long while. Let me go buy some lozenges. So
Eggman is great.
It's like, so good. Because that was my thing. I was going to say that Mike Pollock has now survived 2 Sonic recasts. Because he was Eggman during the Sonic X anime. And then from there on, it was all the games. And that was when Jason Griffith was the new Sonic. And
right.
then he made it to where Roger Craig Smith was the new Sonic. And now he survived that too. And I don't know what happened, because the reason Sonic was recasted, the reason Roger got Sonic was because Jason Griffith and that entire cast lived in New York, but Sega was moving all of their resources to LA, and instead of being like, oh hey, this is before like the work from home thing was like a thing, so they were like, oh we're just gonna leave now. So they left, and
everyone's fired.
Everyone's fired, but they kept Mike Pollock. They kept Mike Pollock to work from home or moved him to LA, but. Yeah, no, they didn't move this time. They're still there. They just constantly decided, Roger, he's fine. We don't need him.
Or anyone else.
Yeah,
what about the
just
voice
get
of
out.
Knuckles? What about Knuckles?
I think his name is Roger Bumpus. I have not heard anything from him.
Okay.
Knuckles,
so, but we know that Tails, Sonic, and Amy were just snapped out of existence.
They're just snapped. Oh, his name is Travis Willingham.
Travis Willingham. Sounds so
Willingham.
It sounds just so professional and so just posh.
I am Knuckles.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Okay. So I see that he responded to Roger's tweet about the Sonic thing, and he just said, "Well done, pal. Heck of a ride." So I don't know.
A heck of a ride. Okay. It sounds like you're saying past tense, like as if like he rode with him.
Yeah, he rode with him. I don't know. I'm scared.
The question is just like, why? And that's what everyone is saying is why.
I don't understand. Like, they were good. It's like there's a trend where once a voice actor like nails their Sonic and it sounds like second nature, they just get rid of him. Like, oh, he's too good. Yeah. We gotta get rid of him.
Well, now the question is who's going to step in? And I mean, a lot of people were saying Ben Schwartz, who does the Sonic movie Sonic, and I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I kind of don't. I don't know, because the thing is, it's like there's voice actors already have a bad rap for being undermined by every celebrity. So if this main voice actor is replaced by another celebrity for all Sonic stuff, that I don't know, that's just not really a good look. And
for me, I think it has a like. Just sorry to interrupt. I just kind of want to interject a little. Just I want to state and say that I love Ben Schwartz's Sonic. Period. I love it. I think he did a great job in the Sonic movie. I think his performance was grand. But I think his voice and his style works for that style of writing of a movie. The constant sarcasm, witty quips. He's almost like a really good comparison is he's almost like Spider-Man. You know how Spider-Man constantly is firing quips and constantly. That's what Sonic is, except more of a kid. He's more of a kid doing a kid Spider-Man who's doing all these quips and stuff. Like, remember when he jumps on the back of Jim Carrey's Eggman's drone's like, whoa, Amazon's supposed to be delivering packages on these things, right? It's just, it sounds
like,
exactly.
Like you look at him and you're like, shut up. And you keep watching.
Yeah, but it sounds like something that so a kid would say, which is exactly right. And Ben Schwartz fits that perfectly. But as an animated video game Sonic, I'm not going to say no, but I'm not going to say yes. I would have to see it first, but I feel like his performance works for the live action.
Because whenever I see Sonic in the games, I don't think, oh, that's a child. No, I like when I play Sonic Unleashed and he's getting destroyed by demons, I'm like, that is probably a young adult. He's up there. He's probably mid-20s, you know?
But in the movie, he's a child. You can see
he's like 4 years old, man.
I don't know, 4, but like 10, 12.
Somewhere like that. And I saw that the voice actor for Sonic before Jason Griffith, Ryan Drummond, he did all of Sonic Adventure and Sonic Heroes. He said that his agent reached out to SEGA in hopes of auditioning to be recasted as Sonic. And
I liked him. I did enjoy his voice acting. I did.
Yeah, he got really good in Heroes. Like I said, he got really good in Heroes, and then they replaced him. And then Jason Griffith got really good in Unleashed, and then they replaced him.
Man, I don't get this main character being replaced over and over and over again with the different voice actors. It doesn't make sense.
You could say it was like 10 years. I guess a 10-year contract, but
maybe
that's just like, why would you not renew that? Because this has been like in the age that we are in right now. Because he and the rest of the cast were very involved with the fan base by doing like the Twitter things where they would get together and answer people's questions as the characters. I don't really know other companies or characters that do that. He's been very involved. You're right. So why get rid of that?
I don't get it. I don't understand why they would do that. But speaking of not understanding something, okay, all right. So, this is a thing. So THQ Nordic, you remember how they just came back and they're like, yeah, we're going to buy everything. And
they were like, Daddy gave me his credit card.
Exactly. They're like, I want this company, I want that company, I want this company. And they just started buying companies and IPs left, right, and center. I remember people pointing out Attack and the Power of Juju, Time Splitters. And they were just walking in, they're like, oh yeah, this studio's now ours. We just came back out of the blue, just a clear blue sky.
What if they're just like, hey, there's a trend on remasters. What if we just be the remaster company and just buy all these old IPs and just do it again? Like,
I mean, possibly.
Easy money. Yeah, possibly. Easy money.
Because as you know, THQ Nordic did published the SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom, which to me was not great.
Yeah, it was there.
It exists. And then they did the Destroy All Humans, which almost won the award for the worst collector's edition. Ever.
They got me. They got me good.
You're awarded with literally garbage. But they remember how we just said that they're buying companies? Yeah, they didn't stop. They went and bought Gearbox.
All of Gearbox, like just randomly.
They just walked up and they're like, hey, you know that studio with, Borderlands? Yeah, we just bought it. Yeah, mine.
See, the thing that confused me is Gearbox has... I always thought Gearbox was, like... never mind. I was going to say, I thought they were owned by 2K, but I remember Gearbox did some work with SEGA for the Aliens games. But, like, they're so tight-knit with 2K... because they did the Borderlands games, and they even did Paragon, if anyone remembers that. They did almost just everything under 2K, and the THQ just buys them. And it was funny because 2K put out a statement, and they were like, well, we're really happy for them, and what else? And the thing that confused me is... they said that the buyout doesn't affect their relationship or their partnerships with their current IPs or future IPs. So I was like,
but it does.
The THQ buys a company, and this other company is like, we're still tight, right? Me and you, we good?
We good?
We Gucci?
No, and it's. That doesn't make any sort of sense. And the fact that THQ Nordic now has the rights to Borderlands, And or would it be 2K that owns the rights to Borderlands?
No, 2K owns it. Gearbox just developed it.
That changes everything because now they gotta find if they want to do Borderlands 4, they gotta bring someone because Gearbox did all of them, right?
Yeah, Gearbox did every single one, and I cannot understand them saying that doesn't change the relationship, because that's like a Walmart manager going to a Best Buy and being like, "Hey, can we borrow you, and you real fast? Yeah, come on over."
That makes no sense. Randy Pitchford, who Randy Pitchford has been in allegation after allegation, and is not the let's just say he's not a human being that you'd want to meet in public. He's kind of like the head of Gearbox. He actually is happy about it. He says, "We have so many new IP concepts that are in our incubator that are ready to explode." That's kind of a really, really bad term to use there.
Yes, Randy. Mr. Allegationer.
Randy, to mention incubator, and anyway, we're gonna move on. We could wait. We could wait for the right publishing partner who's willing to make a bet, rather than only take a risk on something they know Gearbox has already done before. Those publishers that have taken risks on us for what we want to see next have always been rewarded. But for some reason, they can't be comfortable with that kind of risk. Now we get to take that risk. I don't know, maybe because you're kind of running the show, Randy. Maybe that's why people don't want to take the risk.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe the face of Gearbox isn't the best face right now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, maybe you should go back to the bar and get that USB stick that you left behind.
Oopsie doodles.
Oopsie doodles. That was, you shouldn't have done that. Yeah, no, that's it. So the reason why no one's taking a risk, because, again, nobody wants to take a risk because the guy is not the most stable, and then he goes on Twitter and makes really out there rants that people are like, "Randy, shut up,
Randy, go back to bed, okay?"
Randy, just shut up.
And you're grounded.
Exactly. But THQ Nordic, and I want to clarify, this is the THQ parent company, so it's yes, THQ Nordic bought it, but it's the parent company, right? It's like,
I forget who they are, but they own THQ Nordic, and then they bought Gearbox.
It would be like saying, like, because isn't the quote unquote company that owns Google is just more Google, but it's called Alphabet or something like that? Or
I didn't know, but that's funny.
Yeah, I think it's literally called that, or I can't remember the name, because it is literally It is literally like it's still Google. Like it's it's Google, but it's quote unquote Google. So
who owns Google? Google. Oh, nice.
Yes, basically. So yeah, it's THQ that bought Gearbox, and I'm a little bit nervous because THQ is just gobbling up all these IPs, and then so far they haven't been doing much with them. We'll have to see in a few years with the new generation and stuff to see if they try to create something, but
aren't they like, wasn't there reports that they were making a Back at the Barnyard remaster?
I heard that
because I thought you told me that, or someone else did.
Yeah, well, someone told me that, and I remember we just sat there and laughed and laughed and laughed for who knows how long.
Barnyard GTA, dude.
A Barnyard remaster? No.
I don't understand. Okay, I don't understand the like attack method of coming up with all of these remasters of these old games of IPs that were popular in their time and have since vanished. Attack of the Power of Juju, Barnyard, Fairly Odd Parents, none of that is relevant now. And if you release a game for it, no one's going to be like, "Whoa, is that Back at the Barnyard restabled?" Whoa!
Restabled?
No one's going to care. They're going to be like, "Is that a cow game?"
Cow? Moo? No, it's true though. You are 100% right. Is that it doesn't make sense that they're not remastering something that stood the test of time. Like if you go back and you play any of the games that have been remastered recently, you go back and play Crash Bandicoot, Spyro the Dragon. You go back even Medieval. You can play and you're like, okay, there's something here. Even though it's old, there's something here. Back to the Barnyard. What? Why?
See, the thing with those guys is that they're video game characters, so they're always relevant. The problem with all of those games is that they're based off of kids' cartoons from the early 2000s that have stopped airing. So why would you curse yourself to, unless Nickelodeon's like, hey, we're gonna remake Barnyard, but like with real animals, like The Lion King, but with Kevin James. It's just IRL Barnyard. I'm pretty sure if THQ was like, hey, we want to make a Barnyard remaster, Nickelodeon's gonna be like, a what? Oh, that one. Yeah, that one.
Oh, the show that we made in the Fever Dream, the movie that
Kevin who? 2 first names?
yeah. That I'm not understanding, but I'm looking at THQ Nordic. Who is buying all these companies? Who is it? Like, I almost feel like this is like a money laundering because of the amount of studios that they've bought. Like, because the amount of studios that they've bought so far and the amount of content that they've produced is just absolutely astoundingly different and confusing.
The parent company of THQ Nordic is THQ Nordic is an Australian video game publisher that acts as the subsidiary of Swedish holding company Embracer Group. So Embracer Group bought Gearbox, and
okay.
How about this? What studios does Embracer Group own?
Yeah, what is Embracer Group? What?
It's Nordic, formerly known as Nordic Games Publishing. So it is just THQ Nordic.
Okay.
This is just THQ.
Okay, so the original.
It was Nordic Games. And then THQ went out of business, and then Nordic Games bought THQ's name, and they bought all of their IPs, and so it's just THQ, and then so their subsidiaries are Amplifier Game, Coffee Stain Holding, Gearbox, DECA Games, Saber Interactive, THQ Nordic.
I thought you said Nintendo's subsidiary, DMCA. Anyways, continue.
It's just that, like, they just own those.
That is so weird, but gosh, I don't know. That is so weird.
Yeah, that's odd.
It is odd. Speaking of odd, okay. Here we go. All right, EA. Here we go. Woo! EA games, always with their awesome stuff. So, EA is releasing the one game. There's 2 games that EA has me by the throat by, where it's like, if you release content for these games, I'm gonna buy it. It doesn't matter if it looks like garbage. I'm gonna buy it, and it's both from BioWare. It's Dragon Age,
Sonic Chronicles. Yeah, I agree.
Yes, that's what we're going with. No, Dragon Age, and of course Mass Effect. Now, if you guys don't know, Mass Effect Legendary Edition was recently announced, which is
the first game.
All 3 games combined into one remastered experience. And finally, because of their size, I think that we finally have a trilogy that, as long as it's only $69.99 or $59.99, if it's that price, I think that would be pretty much on par with the Spiral Reignited and the Crash Insane, because of the length of Mass Effect. Mass Effect is this gigantic space opera that spans across 3 games, and for 3 games for $59.99 or $69.99, whatever the case may be, they're awesome games, and they're all getting remastered from the ground up.
Have you seen any gameplay yet of it?
We've seen in-game cutscenes, and they just dropped a trailer too. They dropped a trailer which showed some really cool in-game cutscenes again that look really awesome, and we've seen some screenshots, and it looks good. And I'm excited for it. But there's 2 things that we're going to be talking about for Mass Effect. So the first one is actually the content of the game itself. There is a specific character named Miranda. Miranda is definitely the how should I say, the eye candy of the game.
Yeah, the sweet point of the franchise.
Yeah. So back when the game came out, oh man, Mass Effect had so much controversy back when it first came out, because it had one of the first scenes in video games, and I remember just hearing the news about them screaming about it and how horrible Mass Effect was. But I mean, it gave them a bunch of free publicity, I guess.
And they were like, "Oh, I gotta play this."
Yeah, exactly. So Mass Effect is rated M for mature. So it's got it's got
It's
everything.
got the mature.
It's got the mature. It's got your blood. It's got your drugs. It's got your alcohol. It's got your ladies. It's got
your Ghibli parts. It's got all that stuff.
It's got all of that, right? It's got so Miranda, as we said, was a soft on the eyes character. And there were certain scenes where there were certain camera angles that would show off her backstory.
Butt shots, bro.
yeah, it's exactly what it was. And it was pretty blatant too. It wasn't like a tease or like she stepped into frame. It was like, it was pretty clear that that's what the intention was.
Like the video you showed me, the thumbnail is just, I think it's just Shepard standing there like, really? And then her butt is just like half of the screen, and he's like, tell me more.
yeah. You can tell that originally when BioWare did this, it was blatantly there. And the thing is that they are actually removing a lot of these camera angles. And honestly, for the scenes that they were using it for, it kind of makes sense because they were telling her, she was telling her backstory about her sister and what happened with her, and she's trying to be sentimental, and the camera is just zooming in on her butt, and it's like, okay, yeah, that doesn't. That's nice. That's real classy.
Classy, yeah.
That's class. So when they revisited the Legendary Edition, they are removing it. And honestly, I don't care. Sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Who cares? I'm there to shoot aliens. I'm there to for all the cool stuff. Well, apparently gamers are rising up and are angry because
oh my God.
They're removing these angles. And I just think that's so funny. Like, man, Mass Effect was...
they're gonna have like flags outside BioWare that just says "Show me the butt," and it's just like everyone chanting it until they patch it. Like, what if they do the thing they did with Mass Effect 3, where everyone hated the ending, so they rioted until they got the actual good ending as DLC. So they released like butt shot DLC, where you buy it and it like puts all the butt shots back in there.
Oh, gosh. I mean, it's EA. I wouldn't be shocked. But you see, it doesn't make sense. It makes no sense whatsoever to be freaking out about this. It just... No. They're not removing a character. If they turn around and say, oh, we're removing a character because XYZ, that would make sense. But they're removing camera angles. So, yeah, everyone, who cares? If you're freaking out about it, just chill. It's just camera angles. The other thing that I'm not going to be chill about... Something that I personally
care about.
I very much care about this, and I'm rattled. So, Mass Effect Legendary Edition, there's also what's called the Mass Effect Legendary Cache. Now, what is the Legendary Cache? Well, it is the collector's edition of the game.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. And the big selling point about it is that it comes with a 1-to-1 replica of the N7 helmet that your main character, Commander Shepard, wears.
Which is probably going to smell like mold, just like the Fallout 76 helmet.
Probably. It lights up to red or blue, depending on what you want. And it looks really cool. It also comes with, all the other stuff that Collector's Editions comes with. It comes with a Steelbook. It comes with art. It comes with all the fixins that you want in a collector's edition, and it's $159. And I thought, okay, that's pretty good.
Okay, I guess this is a good helmet,
Yeah. And then you look at the Steelbook, and there's a little italic that says "Game not included."
Yeah. That's a problem because I'm looking at it right now. It's just steel case helmet. N7 acceptance letter. Oh, thank God! I can hang this up on my wall and then tell my mom that I didn't fail. Look, Mom, I got accepted into space. And then you get,
that needs to go on a shirt. Look, Mom, I got accepted into space.
That'll be your Mass Effect shirt. Just you, like, look, Mom. So then one more. You get morality spinners. Fidget spinners?
I guess. So it's like, because, Mass Effect has a big morality aspect to it, so it kind of makes sense.
And then you get one canvas art print.
Yes.
No game.
No game. There's no game. And so the big thing here that frustrates me is that the point that somebody made on Twitter which I can understand. I can sort of understand. I get it, but I think that there needs to be certain things amended here. So when you first see that edition, you see $159.99. You're like, hey, I'm going to buy it. And you buy it. You have to actually click the actual thing to actually discover that there is no game with it, and you need to buy the game separately. And the whole point that somebody said, which I can understand, is that they want to make it just one code instead of having two codes with two different games in there, and then one console sells more than the other, and then et cetera, et cetera. So if they just keep it all as there's no game, but you just need one set of orders. So
yeah, I kind of get it, but the thing that upsets me the most is that they've done this exact thing before, because Mass Effect Andromeda's Collector's Edition, I'm looking at it, it was you get a remote control Nomad Indy, like just an RC car that looks like the thing from the game, a Steelbook, and no game, and it was $200 because of the RC car. This one comes up with a light up helmet and no game, so that's not that's not a good trade off. Like you own the game, you manufactured it. You can throw the disc in there. The Steelbook is in there. Just don't give us the case. Put the disc in there.
You see, or what they should have said is turn around and said, "Hey, listen, be very clear and open right at the front, saying, hey, listen, the game, like in the title, in the ad, is saying, hey, make sure that you know that there is no game included in the collector's edition." And you can turn around and be like, you can get a bundle pack where you get a discount if you buy the collector's edition and the game, and here's the price, and you get like $10 off because you don't need the case, right? It comes with the steel case. So you can buy the game for $59.99. You could buy the collector's edition just without the stuff. There's no game for is it $149 or $159?
I think it was like that or $179.
Yeah, okay, whatever. And then you say, or you could buy the collector's edition with, and then on checkout you choose which version you want, and then they just pop it in there as a secondary order, and you get like 10% off.
Or hear me out. You put the game with it. And that's that. Because I'm looking at the Andromeda one, and they say on there, on the ad, game not included. But if you look at the Legendary Edition, it does not say that. It just says Steelbook.
Okay. Look, I'm trying to work within the mindset that EA is working here. I'm just trying to compensate.
No, there. You could argue that there are workarounds, but if I bought the Days Gone one for $160 and it had the game in it with more stuff than this came with, there is no excuse. 100%. Yeah.
Let's move on to our last story before we get going, because this has been a wild ride. Stonks. I didn't mean to send that. Oh, wow. Okay, so let's quickly explain, because there have been people on streams that have been asking what is going on, because it has to include with investing and financing. And a lot of people hear that and they just don't want to hear it. And I understand, because it gets boring and confusing. So let me just quickly explain how hedge funds work. Let's say you own a share in something. Let's say that share is, you own a share in, we'll use GameStop. GameStop is $10 per share. So what happens is, if I put my $10 into GameStop and the value of GameStop goes up by $1, what happens is, if I pull out, I would get $11. That's how
Whoa!
Yeah, right, because it gained $1 per stock. If it lost $1, I would get only $9 back. And that's just for one share. You can buy, it's obviously encouraged to buy multiples of a share. You could have 100 of a share. Therefore, your ups and downs are a lot more dramatic. Okay, so that's a quick summary of the investment market. Then we got hedge funds. What they do is that they approach people with said shares and they say, hey, we're going to buy your shares for you, but we're going to borrow them. And we're going to give you like a fee. We're going to give you like a fee of like, hey, you have $10,000 worth of shares. We're going to give you that $10,000 plus an additional 1,000 just for giving it to us. And then what they do is that all the hedge funds get together with all their borrowed assets. And then what they do is that they all sell at the same time. And when they all sell at the same time, the value of the stock goes down. And then once it reaches its lowest point, they buy back the same stock and they give it back to their original owners. And they keep the difference. So
I hate
that.
I hate everything that you just said.
Yeah, I know. So, for example, if a hedge fund walked up to me and said, you have one share in GameStop, I would like to take that one share, give you an extra $1. So it's $10. They pay me the $10 for my share plus $1. And then what they do is that they go and they sell the share for $10. All the shares plummet to $6. They then rebuy the share for $6. And because it was only $10, they give it back to me. They give the money back to me. And then they keep the difference. And that the difference was $4. So they gained $4 because they just took it, held onto it, and then gave it back. So that's how hedge funding works. But there was a plan that happened. There was a plan.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can give the abridged version of what happened with the Reddit warriors, is what I call them.
Yeah.
Essentially, correct me if I'm wrong, but essentially, what was happening is basically Reddit, the entirety of Reddit. No, people on Reddit wanted to send a message, like to the man, like to the Wall Street man. So they picked their candidate, which was GameStop, because everyone knows GameStop is doing horribly. So their shares are dirt cheap. So what they did is they all worked together and they dramatically shot up the price of GameStop. Of GameStop. It shot up so high that people were freaking, like the people in Wall Street, all the man, they were all freaking out because they were like, what? No, I'm sorry, I missed something. Someone at Wall Street, I think, placed a bet that GameStop would go under, or they would not exceed this specific amount. Sort of.
So that's with the hedge funding. That's what's called a short. So what they do is that they do like you said, the dirt cheap. They look for the dirt cheap shares. So they turn around and say, hey, GameStop. And what happens is that the hedge funders walk around and say, hey, I'd like to borrow I would like to buy your copy or your share of GameStop or your shares of GameStop. And they go to do that trade. So what happened was that somebody on Reddit was paying attention because all the hedge funds work together, right? Because they all have to sell in order for the market value to go down a significant amount, right? Yes. And then what happens is that makes people who have money in there panic and pull their money out, making it drop even more, and then they buy it back. So they get the difference. They're scaring people to pull out and then profiting off the difference. Well, what happened was Reddit was watching for that. It was volatile. And what happened was all the investors the hedge funders bought a whole bunch of stocks in GameStop to plummet the price. As soon as that happens, because you have to hold on to your shares for a few days before you can sell them. As soon as that happened, Reddit said, everyone drop all of your money on GameStop. All of the money, all of it. And what happened was that because of so many people putting all of their money into GameStop, it launched the value of GameStop through the roof. Like,
but here's massive amount.
Like, it peaked at $420 per share. So that would mean that if you bought one share at $10 and then you sold at its peak point, you would get a total of $400 in revenue, $410. I think it's $410 back, like $410 out of a $10 investment. Now, here's what happened. You have to think now. The people who had stocks in GameStop, they need their stocks back. So they sell it and then they go to rebuy it, but they have to rebuy it at a higher rate now. So now they're losing money. Yeah. And because they all because now people are saying, hey, where's my GameStop stuff? Where's my GameStop stocks that you guys borrowed from me? I need it back. So they bought it at $10 a share, and then they have to buy it at $400 per share and give it back to the people. So they are losing like 400% per transaction, and it made them lose, and they stopped putting out the numbers. $5 billion in 3 days.
Yeah, and the thing is, the whole situation got even crazier because as everyone in Wall Street were like, "Mommy, he's taking my millions of dollars." Robinhood, which is the like one of the easiest ways to like buy a stock. It's like a mainstream stock buying app that everyone knew about. Like you make an account, you look at your stock, and you buy a stock through the app, and that's that.
Robinhood, right?
Yeah, Robinhood, and they gave the illusion of being like for you, like we're with you, and we know how to do stuff for stocks, so we're gonna be with you. And they showed their true colors when all of this was happening, and they blocked GameStop. You could not buy, sell, view anything with GameStop because of what was going on, which outed them out as being part of the higher ups, because if people kept doing that, it would affect them. So everyone was like, wow, what? Just like, I had not seen this coming. So so many podcasts and YouTubers and everyone were coming out saying, hey, we've dropped Robinhood as a sponsor. Because of this, and people who had their account got locked out of their account because they were somehow getting through to GameStop, so they got their accounts locked out. So while all this was happening, this was on my birthday, by the way. So color me surprised when I wake up and I'm like, oh, what's going on? What is happening? What's happening? Everyone, Stonks and GameStonks and Robinhood, Wall Street. I'm gonna go back to bed. So yeah, that's what happened during that day.
It's been chaos, and in fact, even I got involved in some of the investing because it wasn't just GameStop; it was AMC, which is a line of theaters, and a few others.
Wasn't it CD Projekt too?
I don't remember about CD Projekt. I'm not sure
because I know like Elon Musk tweeted something about CD Projekt Red, and then like their stocks like shot up just because he mentioned it.
Yeah, hold on. I'm going to take a look right now. Let's take a look at what right now GameStop is sitting at, because GameStop has gone down because people have pulled out because
so the fun was over.
Well, yeah, I mean, imagine if you dropped $3,000 for fun and then at $10 a share, and then it shot up. Like, let's just say, because some people have $3,000 to just drop for fun, right? And
must be nice,
Yeah, some people do it. So imagine that. So 3,000 shares, right, at $10 a share equals 300 shares. 300 times 4, it hit $400. That turned into $120,000.
Oh my God!
If you invested $3,000 into GameStop during when it was at $10 and then sold at its peak, you would be at $120,000. And I know some people, what they literally did was that they risked it and they put their student tuition in.
Oh no!
So there was somebody that had $100,000 student tuition and he put it in. And if you did that, if you put in your entire $100,000 student tuition into the stock market, and then pulled out at its highest point, you would have made over $4 million.
Oh my! I cannot imagine. Like for me, I am not a fan of GameStop, but after that, they would be my number one customer for an entire lifetime, and that's not an exaggeration.
It's like, man, like that is insane, and that is such a huge risk. And they held and they held and they held and they held, and then they pulled out. They're like, all right, I'm out, I'm good. And now you don't need to go to school. You have $4.2 million.
I'm good. $4 million. I'm good.
Now you can take like half of that money and invest it into actual good stocks, like Google, the ones that are just skyrocketing always. I mean, like, good golly, man, $4.2 million if you invested that much. That is insane. That is absolutely just nuts.
I cannot.
It's crazy. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for listening in. We are everywhere. We're on Apple Podcasts. We are on Spotify. We are on the other stuff too, you know?
Yeah, the other stuff. Yeah,
the other stuff. Yeah. We're everywhere that you can listen to podcasts. If you can rank the podcast wherever you are, whatever platform that you're on, let us know what you think about it. We really love reading the reviews and hearing what you guys have to say. Make sure to go follow Shemp over on his YouTube channel and on his Twitter account at ShempOfficial. And don't forget to subscribe to Canadian Guy A, and also follow me on Twitter at Canadian Guy A with the extra H, because there is an imposter who has the single H. And it's been a year, and since this COVID thing has happened, so we are hoping that you continue to stay safe. It sucks, but we're trying our best. There's probably a large supply of carrier pigeons being held at the border. It will just be a swarm of pigeons when this is all. I'm
fine with that, honestly. Just bring them in.
Bring in the pigeons. Thank you all so much for listening in, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.